Round two between the Weyburn Beavers and Medicine Hat Mavericks takes place here in the afternoon, an earlier game than most. 2:05 start from Athletic Park. The Beavers coming off of a massive win last night, not just because of what it means to the Eastern Division standings, but because the performance that they put up was really monumental. You talk about home run power baked into a game with star pitching. They had it all, and they ended up taking it 16-3 in that effort. And the return of veteran Noah Brooks was a helpful part in such. He had 3 hits on the game. He was one of 3 Beavers members who recorded 3-hit games alongside veterans Braden Mayencourt and Ryan Daphne. So heading into today, this is an energized Beavers group who sit a game and a half ahead of the Mavericks in the standings, and it really feels like they can close out the season in the right spot if they win over the Mavs today. A 2.5 game lead, that is not small when you only have just over a week to go in the season, and they're in a position to take over in the East. For the Mavs, they need a win, and they need one badly, especially because it is the Weyburn Beavers, a team that they've beaten a lot this year, a 5-2 record on the year, but yesterday they did not look like the Mavs that we've been accustomed to seeing at times throughout the year when it comes to attacking after opposing pitchers and making life hard, extending innings. And it's a frustrated group to my left today, and they're going to come out hungry against a Beavers team, as I mentioned, that they desperately need a win against. So all that and a bit more will be coming for you here on Flow Sports today. The Beavers and the Mavs for the last time in the 2026 regular season. We'll get you back with our starting lineups here on Flow Sports. And here's tonight's starting lineups. We'll start it off with the Medicine Hat Mavericks. It is almost an identical look to yesterday. The only change really at catcher, and that's Nate King, who draws into the lineup. Carter Roth will still bat in the leadoff spot. Evan Morrison stays in right field, made his first appearance at home in that part of the park yesterday, and so he'll give it a run again. Nick Hill's over at third. Frankie Giacalone back at first. Johnny Volcano at short. Eric Calder in the DH spot, and he had another successful evening, a couple of hits against the Beavers. He was one of the few bright spots offensively for Medicine Hat. Nate King mentioned he's in the game. He'll bat 7th and catch. Josh Stark comes into the game today, so another change for Medicine Hat. He's going to play in left field, very used to the right side, but can patrol the entire outfield, and so he gets a look opposite of where he usually is. And Jalen King once again in center field for the second day in a row. And now let's take a look at the Weyburn Beavers lineup, starting off with their center fielder, Hugh Montgomery, the speedster and usual leadoff hitter. And I talked to John Priddy, who's a part of the Beavers organization and a man of many talents within their staff. And he said if they could have rolled out the same lineup today, they would have, and it's awfully close to that. Noah Brooks talked about his star performance yesterday. He'll be over in left field. Braden Mayencourt now moves to first base after being in the DH spot yesterday. Ryan Daphne stays over at second. Will Sevier at third. Robert Gurney moves from first to behind the plate. He'll catch. Austin Boylan. The only change lineup-wise for the Beavers today is Boylan checking in for Colt Uphold, who will sit, and that Boylan will be playing in his usual spot in right field. Trevor Dale in the middle infield with Ryan Daphne, one of the best tandems in the league, and he's at short again today, making up that 2 spot with Ryan Daphne. And Owen Mayencourt, caught yesterday, gets a day break. He'll be DHing and batting 9th. And for the Medicine Hat Mavericks, in a game that is littered with all-stars, Julian Picorni, one of those, a former all-star in 2025 with the Brooks Bombers, a 1-2 record so far this year, a 9 ERA and 16 strikeouts. Do have to add 18 walks in there for Picorni this year. The strikeout to walk ratio, not where he wants it to be, but the Mavs plenty of confidence that the Picorni of old can still show his potential within this game today. In a start that needs to be long, they're banking on him to go out and log numbers and, of course, log innings alongside that. So now that you're reacclimated with who's going to be in the lineup for today's game and we're all ready to go, we'll toss it down to field level for our national anthem, and then we will get back with the beginning of our game. As Julian Picorni dusts off the mound and gets back up there for his start today. Well, this is going to be a very interesting match for the Medicine Hat Mavericks. Can you build confidence and do it quickly? The turnaround is not as long as it usually is. Usually the Mavs will play 6:45 game, and then the next day sometimes if they go on the road, we'll see a 7:40 or 7:05 start or a 6:45 start again at home. But the 2:05 start presents lots of challenges, especially when you finish late the night before. They're probably in some ways thankful that the game only went eight innings, but they're looking to make it a longer one today because the game goes longer. It means that they're in it for most. And Medicine Hat, they've fallen behind early in games a lot. Yesterday we saw a couple of zeros put up by Derek Archer, and it felt like that was the mood that the Mavericks needed to work with. And after that, the Beavers found their life in the middle of the game, and they just never stopped from there. 3 consecutive innings with runs scored, took an inning off, and then came back and put up 4 more. And, you know, that's a winning formula when you can consistently hit well, and it's a confident Beavers group. They're gelling really well at the right time, and, you know, that's exciting to see for a team that hasn't been in the playoffs in a long time. And, you know, they deserve to get back in at some point, and it just seems like this is going to be the year. One big thing of note, no Ryan Musilar in the lineup for the Beavers tonight. They're 2-time All-Star in seasons 2023 and seasons 2024. So without him in both games this weekend, the Beavers were up against a big challenge. You're losing one of your top bats who just came back and joined the lineup. 9 RBIs in 12 at-bats, and not having that, clearly Weyburn's still confident in their abilities, and they're really confident about the guy who leads things off most times around, and that's Hugh Montgomery, who heads up to the plate to face Julian Picorni. Pokorny in the first couple of innings of work is hit and miss at times. When he's on, he's really on and can become untouchable. But he just has to stay confident, and that's a confident first pitch there from Pokorny that reaches for a strike. Montgomery waits for the second from Pokorny. He's on top of it, but fouls it off the netting. Beautiful day again in Medicine Hat. Clear blue skies. There is still a little bit of a haze, but it is quieted down. Yesterday, you looked up in the sky. If you were looking over in the moon's direction, it looked red, a scary sight. For the Mavs, they have to see red today in this game against the Beavers. Nothing to hold back late in the season. King's going to try and frame that pitch. Guess we'll see the official count from the home plate umpire. It reads 1-2 on the score clock. Pokorny on the way. Montgomery lifts this one over towards right field, and it's going to head foul. Backing out of the way was the Beavers' bullpen catcher as that one hops the fence. So Hugh Montgomery, a guy that the Beavers would love to get on because he runs so well, a very good defender in center field. Against Pokorny, he's making him work already, showing that his timing maybe not on par yet, but at least he's there and he's seeing the ball well in this first match. Pokorny. Oh, that is awfully close, and you could see Nate King waiting for an extra second, hoping to get the call against Montgomery. Heading into today's game, Montgomery batting .250 on the year, .365 on base percentage. Montgomery shields this one foul, and it's a long at-bat to begin the game. And for Weyburn yesterday, they didn't chase Derek Archer in the first 3 innings, say, but they got him out of the game a lot earlier than we've seen other teams be able to do. You think about one of his longer outings, he pitched 8 innings here at one point. For Pokorny, if they can drive that pitch count up early and get the Mavs into their bullpen, that's when teams have been able to play at their best. And it looks like time's being called down on the field. That ball that went foul, it looks like they're calling for some assistance on the far side, and the Beavers trainer is actually heading down there now. See players and coaches peeking out of the dugout, and see Johnny Volcano signaling over to that side. Julian Pokorny up on the mound. He was pointing over there as well. Nate King down at the plate. I think they saw his sign first. And hopefully everything's okay on the far side, but now you can see many fans looking over that way. You don't want to speculate, but something has obviously happened on the right side, and it has demanded some medical attention. See many people down on that side with arms on their head, and I think this game's going to be paused for the considerable future here. We're just hoping for, if there is an individual down there, that everything is okay and that they're able to get back into a good spot. Obviously, any ball that leaves the field of play, it's a scary situation. And now seeing the Beavers heading back to their dugout, that's a more positive sign. And obviously very impressive for all players to stop and focus on things that are more important than the ball game. Good work by everybody, fans included, moving towards the area and obviously paying attention to what was going on in case it was something that was very dire. Three-two count now as we return to Hugh Montgomery still at the plate, battling it out against Julian Pokorny. And Pokorny, strike 3 called. Montgomery thought he had first. Instead, it's a strikeout, and Pokorny probably feeling like he got one back. Nate King, of course, earlier in the count being patient with his late hold and hoping that he could get the call from the home plate umpire. That time, it was just low enough to warrant a strikeout. And the first K of the game for Pokorny. And Noah Brooks, a feared hitter throughout the league during his time in the WCBL, and kind of learned about Brooks' story to getting up here this year. Played for them last year, Edmonton the year before, was not going to return to the Weyburn Beavers. And it was Austin Gurney, a former league all-star, who was watching a Beavers game, watching his brother Robert. He messaged Noah Brooks. They were teammates at the University of Pikeville and mentioned, hey, I think the Beavers could use a bat. And Brooks considered it and then found himself up here for the last couple of weeks of the season. Boy, what an ad for Weyburn. Picorni fell over on the pitch, and you see him all out of sorts on the mound. It's now 2-1. That mound has caused many pitchers trouble this year. I think the biggest part of it is the rubber over there that has been shifting a bit underneath the ground, and if it doesn't have time to dry, then obviously that creates a lot of chaos. Picorni misses outside. No challenge from Brooks. It's now 3-1. Brooks, what a day yesterday. We mentioned it. The RBI total might not have been high, but he put the ball in play 3 separate times. What an evening for a former All-Star. Brooks called strike late there, and he'll head back and look at the home plate umpire. He actually had undone his, looked like ankle guard down there. So now we'll have to reset in a 3-2 count against Picorni, the second 3-2 count of this game. Picorni loads up. Brooks stays alive. He was behind on the pitch but made contact. Waiting on deck for the Beavers. If you still have your lineup card from yesterday, it's very similar. It's Braden Mancourt who will follow. So from a righty in Brooks to a lefty in Mancourt, the Beavers flip-flopping their order here. Picorni. And strike 3 called again. That is 2 Ks flipped the other way for Julian Picorni. What a start to this game. But this has been the thing in the past for Picorni. Gets 2 quick outs, and then things can unravel. When he is on, it is quick innings like this that make his day really easy. So now here comes Braden Mancourt, one of the guys who had multiple hits yesterday. Many RBIs to add to the tally as well, 2 in the game. First pitch to Mancourt, he takes for a strike. A confusing look there from Mancourt as he steps to the edge of the batter's box. Picorni on the way outside, and a jump there from Picorni missed his spot. Mancourt, one of the few guys, as James Tubb mentioned on yesterday's broadcast, that does not wear batting gloves in the WCBL. Most guys have gone to what all the MLB guys are doing and have decided to put on gloves, not Mancourt. Mancourt will take on the outside again. So that pitch away not working to Mancourt through this at-bat. Mancourt. This time it does connect with the side edge, and it's 2-2. Mancourt will look over to the dugout, maybe get a sign from the first base coach over near the Beavers side. Now Picorni ready to go into a crouched position as Mancourt sends a ground ball over to Johnny Volcano. Volcano, higher one to first, but it's in time. A 1-2-3 inning for the Mavericks, and it ends the same way the top of the first did yesterday. A ground ball to Johnny Volcano from Braden Mancourt, and that takes us to the bottom of 1. We'll be back. The Mavs bring out the bats for the first time. Carter Roth, the first batter of the game that Zach Rachel will see on the mound. And I was just mentioning to the booth next to me that the Beavers, they have one designated ace, I would say. That's Logan Lynch. He made the All-Star game this year. He's probably the guy who will get game one if he's still on the roster. And then you got a nice little tandem pairing of guys that can be either 2 or 3. And Zach Rachel and Josh Pritchard, who we saw last night. Rachel begins his day here with a ball to Carter Roth. Rachel. Second offering to Roth, and Roth approaching a major milestone. We'll see if he gets there this year and if he writes his name not only into the Mavericks history books, which he already has with the all-time doubles in a season record, but he's on pace to break Aiden Stennett's record that has lasted since 2014, back with the Moose Jaw Miller Express, of most doubles in a WCBL season. Roth takes a strike here. That total at 23. Roth is currently at 21. I think at the very minimum, he'll at least tie it. Rachel. Pitch over towards Carter Roth. He'll hustle down the line. He has good speed, not good enough for a premier arm at shortstop, Trevor Dale. He's great when he has the bat in hand because he can smash the ball, but his defensive work is so good, and we've watched it over the last 2 years. He could be a 200 hitter in this league and still be on any roster because of how good he is at short. And you just don't see a lot of guys like that where the batting average really doesn't matter to their head coaches. It's only about what they can do defensively, and he's among the league's best playing short. So here's Evan Morrison with one out for the Mavs. Morrison, fly ball towards left field. Noah Brooks waving it down and making the grab for out number 2. So 2 up, 2 down for the Mavs here. I think it was 6 up, 6 down between the two teams to begin yesterday. And here comes Nick Hill. A few pop-ups yesterday for Nick Hill. He had to adjust to the pitching, and now he'll step in here against Rachel, who he has not seen yet. He hadn't even played the Beavers before the 2 games this weekend. Rachel, Hill, pop up towards center field. It's going to stay in the shallow part. Ryan Doffney makes the play for out number 3. So almost the exact same start that we saw yesterday for the Mavs in the bottom half of the first. And it is 0-all through 1 inning here in Medicine Hat.
For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Buy Canadian, store Canadian.
For over a century, we've been more than just lawyers. We're your neighbors, your friends, and your strongest advocates. With locations across the prairies, we're everywhere you are. Stringham, your local lawyers.
Top of the second inning. We'll begin with Ryan Doffney, the cleanup hitter for the Weyburn Beavers. A home run yesterday, one of the all-time best Beavers. We mentioned it every time he makes his first plate appearance, and you just have to with a guy like Doffney. A great defender, an even better bat, and an even better ambassador of the community of Weyburn. And he's a player that isn't born in Weyburn. He's not a local Sask guy, and so for Doffney taking that into effect as he punches the first pitch he sees to left field, and the play is made by Josh Stark, who's getting used to a new alleyway over there in left. But to finish up on Doffney, a guy that keeps representing the Beavers well, plays hard, puts in the hard work away from the field, and For a guy like Dauphney, even though he's born in White Rock, BC, you can almost scratch in Weyburn, Saskatchewan next to that on his hometown, on his stats page. Pitch here from Picorni. Strike one to Will Sevier. So Sevier moving up the lineup, had a 2-run home run in yesterday's game. With that, obviously, the Beavers putting more trust in him. Second pitch will be a ball from Picorni. 20 hits for the Beavers a night ago, and when you can feel the momentum of a game like that shift into a game like this, that's important, and Weyburn's still waiting for such. A bouncer over to Nick Hill, chucks to first. On the bag is Frankie Giacalone, and now that is 5 consecutive retired here for Julian Picorni. This is the Picorni that we were used to seeing. I mean, when you talk about how good he was in Brooks a year ago, you know, getting the accolades and pitching in ASG, that's a different story. What he did out of their bullpen at times, and he got a few starts, but it was really remarkable. You talk about a guy who can log a couple of innings in between, close out games. He's not afraid of the high-pressure situation, and, you know, a valuable asset in Picorni that has yet to get it figured out as a starter here with the Mavs. His relief appearances have been pretty good, and they've mostly come on the road. He's started most times at home. Here's Robert Gurney, another guy with the home run yesterday for the Beavers. And a swing and a miss. It was a solo shot for Gurney yesterday. He had one in an earlier appearance here at Athletic Park. And Gurney has come such a long way from just being a kind of fill-in player on Moose Jaw to now an everyday player on Weyburn this season. Gurney will take a strike, and working ahead in the count here is Picorni. It's 1-2. Gurney. Quick tug of the uniform. Here's the pitch from Picorni, and it was inside, just missed the leg of Gurney. I spoke of those jerseys because they are brand new for the Weyburn Beavers. They went with an all-blue look as one of their alternates last year, and bright blue at that. And now a very cool design this year, similar to those Toronto Blue Jays city jerseys from seasons past. Here's a ground ball over to Johnny Volcano. Ranges to first. Bouncer to Giacalone. He caught it falling over, and that is the third out of the inning. An impressive way to do it for Giacalone as he adjusts on the fly. Gurney couldn't get down the line in time. And another 0 for Julian Picorni. Efficient and effective on the bump.
Yo, does the you going?
Yes.
Can I join you guys? All right, let's go.
Whether it's on the ice or on our app, always play for the fun of the game. Gamble responsibly with Play Alberta.
The Okotoks Dogs and Baseball Canada will host the Road to Okotoks and the Morneau Cup National Championship at the Seaman Stadium Complex from July 14th to 19th. Come watch the top 16 youth baseball teams from across the country. These are the future stars of Canadian baseball, tomorrow's collegiate standouts and professional players, all chasing a national championship. Don't miss a week of elite competition, unforgettable moments, and the future of Canadian baseball in Okotoks.
I want to applaud Frankie Giacalone there. You know, he's getting close to the home run record and had some technical difficulties getting back to the stream here. And fortunately, that one ending up in play. Of course, you'd like the home run at any time, but you hope you can give him a good call alongside that. So Giacalone already one down here, and wanted to pass along a message that I just received from John with the Weyburn Beavers. He said that this is Zach Rachel's last start, so he can go as long as he wants in this game, and that's a big thing to note. For a guy like Rachel who can log a lot of innings, it's important. Volcano all the way out off the base of the wall as he smashes a hit into left center. Sliding to second. Safe there is Volcano, and he has himself a double. The first hit of this ball game for either team. And now a guy in scoring position here for the Mavs. Great work by Johnny Volcano, turning on the burners, getting there in time. And Rachel served up the pitch that Volcano will hunt all day long, and a clap of the bat from the Mavs veteran. And now I believe just one double away from tying the all-time career record for most doubles by a Medicine Hat Maverick is Johnny Volcano. I think that is his 45th. The record is 46. Eric Calder comes to the plate now. Did lots of damage yesterday. Can he start his day that way? Strike taken there from Rachel. Volcano takes a quick peek over towards Calder at the plate. Rachel will look Volcano's way now. A double take of sorts. Calder, high one over towards right field. It's got good pace to it, and it is gone. Eric Calder continues to rake it home. A 2-run home run. The Mavs in front early. Oh, Eric Calder is in one of the hottest stretches of his Maverick career. That is 3 home runs in his last 2 home games, and yesterday had a pair of hits. He begins his day on the right foot. My, is it just gorgeous to see for Eric Calder, and that one was smashed. Tough part to get to in right center field, and Calder took it the distance into the berm. So Medicine Hat playing with a lead now against Weyburn. Desperate times right now for this group. They need a win, as I mentioned off the top of today's show. And because it's Weyburn, it means so much more with these two battling it out for a playoff spot. Here's Nate King, a fly ball into right. Austin Boylan shading from the sun, and he'll make the grab. That sun is pounding down on the field right now. It's even hot here in the booth. And Boylan having to deal with that. All outfielders will today. Talk about how it is obviously presence over at first base, and it gets in the eyes of many first basemen. An afternoon game, you don't have to worry about it if you're playing on that side. But it is the outfielders who will deal with it more, and now dealing with Josh Stark is Zach Rachel. Rachel, Stark, high over towards left field. Noah Brooks got a good jump, and he makes the grab for out number 3. But Medicine Hat up on the board in early lead. Eric Calder, a 2-run home run. He puts through himself and Johnny Volcano. And a good response here from the Mavs after a tough day yesterday. They lead for now. Austin Boylan with a catch in right field in the last inning. Now he comes up for his first plate appearance. Faced off against Julian Pokorny. Great start to the day for Pokorny. 6 consecutive retired against the Beavers, and Boylan will try and make his stamp on this game early on. One of the few changes for the Beavers, bringing Boylan into the lineup today. Nate King got caught on the hand. He had to wear that pitch. Not sure if it was off the hop or off the swing, but King going to have to shake it off quickly here as he gets right back into it with Pokorny. Pokorny. Boylan spoils the pitch, and a good pitch there from Pokorny, getting Boylan leaning, just unable to convert a strikeout. Waiting over on deck behind Boylan will be Trevor Dale. Had a tough day yesterday in the batter's box, but he's done well in the past here at Athletic Park. Boylan, inside pitch, no chase. So now it's 1-2. Pokorny. Over to his side, long leg kick, and another spoiled pitch by Boylan. That is how Weyburn won yesterday's game, working counts deep, staying alive, fouling off tough pitches, and then working in situations where they had 2 outs. That was the difference. The Mavs had runners on with 2 outs, even with nobody out, and they were unable to get runs across. And then you look at the score at the end, 16-3 is a wide margin, but there was a lot that went into that 16-run effort by the Beavers. Another pitch spoiled here by Boylan, driving that pitch count up for Pokorny. Pokorny. Longer pause up on the hill. And Boylan, a swing and a miss. When you see a batter foul off that many pitches, it's hard to strike a guy out, and Pokorny obviously found a spot, and Boylan unable to touch it, so that is another K for Julian Pokorny. He is rolling on the mound today. It's been an impressive performance so far. Trevor Dale. I feel like this is the lowest part of the lineup that he has been in his WCBL career. First pitch here from Pokorny is just going to land low. Dale, always a power threat, was leading the WCBL, I think at one point last year in home runs. The Beavers didn't have so many great players last season on their team and lots of good individual performances, he probably would have been an all-star. And probably would have been in the home run derby too. That was filled by Ian Heck, the former two-way player for the Beavers. Dale. A few taps of the plate. Good count here at 2-0. Dale going to take another. Now he runs it up to 3-0. I would assume that Dale and Pokorny have likely faced off in the past, being veterans in the league, but with being in opposite divisions in previous years, you just never know. Pokorny. Pop up here for Dale. Giacalone ranging over behind the pole. Close watch right at the fence, and he did not make the catch, fell over the fence. Giacalone sprawled out on the other side. Man, that fence is not his friend. He's run into it a few times this year, not afraid to try and bull rush any spot in the park. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to make that grab because it would have been a beauty and a tight play there right against the top. So Pokorny will run back, a 3-1 count now. Trevor Dale just surviving that play from Giacalone, and I think you could say the same about Giacalone's ribs. Pokorny. Dale, no swing, called strike at the last minute. Julian Pokorny, 40 pitches thrown, 3 strikeouts, no walks. That's the biggest stat of them all, 0 in the walk category. Dale, swing and a miss, and another strikeout for Julian Pokorny. Make it 4 here, and he's not even through the third. Now up to the plate for the Beavers will come Owen Maincourt, the last hitter that the Beavers will put out tonight. Then we'll run through the order again. So the top half looming. Hugh Montgomery's on deck. Pokorny would love to make it 3 innings where he doesn't see anybody twice. Pokorny. Pop up. Maybe playable again for Giacalone. This one's going to stay in the field of play. Giacalone makes the grab, and that is 9 consecutive sat down for Julian Picorni. Vintage from the former All-Star, as he has stunned the Beavers so far. Jalen King picked up his first career WCBL hit last night, his first plate appearance of the game here against Zach Rachel. Rachel has only surrendered 2 hits so far. Now make that 3 as King's up through the gap, and he's got himself a base hit. King with plenty of good speed, thought about 2. Instead, it's covered by Trevor Dale, and the Mavs have their lead hitter on. Important here as they go back to the top of the order for Carter Roth. As I was mentioning with King, first hit yesterday, and sometimes it takes a few games for guys to get adjusted. Not if you played at Mid-America Christian. Frankie Giacalone, Jalen King, and Nick Hill, as soon as they joined the lineup, they were phenomenal right out of the gate. Strike taken here by Carter Roth. Obviously, his first game, he didn't pick up a hit in against Moose Jaw, but yesterday we saw what Jalen King was all about. He's going to get checked on over at first here with a throw. And his teammates commended him yesterday after a play in center field where he ran into the wall. They said, we need guys with that intensity and that sort of hustle. Pitch to Roth is going to be high for ball number 1. So Roth mentioned getting eerily close to that record, and Johnny Volcano right alongside him. I'm not sure what the career total is all time for WCBL players, but Volcano would have to be in the running for that as well. Quick check over on first base. If Roth was with the Mavericks for longer, he would have smashed that doubles record a long time ago. He's going to be up there on most Maverick leaderboards for the considerable future. Rachel, pitch on the way. Pulling this is Roth. It's got good hop, and it is all the way gone. Carter Roth, a 2-run shot. The Mavs increase their lead to 4. Back-to-back 2-run home runs in back-to-back innings. Carter Roth, always known as a contact guy. Felt like he kind of got away from pulling the ball for a bit, but that on his strong side, and he rips it into the tall grass. And Medicine Hat putting up a good fight here already against Weyburn, and Zach Rachel. He's going to have a long leash because he can work till the end of this game if he really wanted to. No pitch limit. This is it for his WCBL season. So he's going to try and make the most of it, but playing from behind here, 4-0 already for Medicine Hat. First pitch to Morrison will drop for ball 1. Morrison has not hit very many home runs at home this year. He did have one in one of his previous games here at Athletic Park. It's part of a game against Swift Current where the Mavs had about a dozen home runs, it felt like. Rachel kicks to Morrison. He'll shoot this one to left field, and this could be more than one. Morrison around first. He's charging for second base. He'll get there easily. A quick look to third. Nothing there. And Evan Morrison with an extra base hit sets up well for Nick Hill, now the 5th hit of the game for Medicine Hat. Time is going to be called here. Looks like it's Jackson Henderson coming out of the dugout. He'll have a quick discussion with Zach Rachel. And a disappointing start for Rachel. Talked about how crucial this game is for both sides. You know, if the Mavs win today, they're only a half game back of Weyburn. Weyburn's still some traction to make up in the game's played department, and their schedule, just based off of, you know, who they play that's over 500 and under, it is more favorable than what the Mavs have to go through. But any team can win any game on any night. We watched Moose Jaw yesterday. They had a 14-game win streak snapped by the Swift Current 57s, who have been in last place for most of the year in the Eastern Division. You just never know what you're going to get when you come to the ballpark. And today, the Mavericks are getting a good performance hitter-wise, and maybe an even better one from Julian Picorni. Eric Calder talked about it before the game. If your pitcher can go out and throw strikes and work quickly, that sets up well for the offense, and it gives them confidence. There's some confidence out there for the Mavs at this moment. Rachel, Hill, ground ball. Morrison watches it, stare down, and now he's going to be caught in a rundown here. Hill's going to turn for second, and now he'll have to head back to first. Could be a double play. Tag is late. So Morrison, with a miscue, was looking to look off Trevor Dale over at short, but Dale, way too smart of a defender, and he converts the play to third base. That is a big out for the Beavers here, who look to get back into this game. The first out of this inning. Nick Hill's over at first. Frankie Giacalone coming up to the plate. Giacalone, a quick look over towards his third base coach and assistant coach, David Dell. Rachel, first pitch to Giacalone is for a strike. Waiting on deck behind Giacalone will be Johnny Volcano. Mentioned Giacalone so close to that Mavericks home run record, and he'll look to get to it here. Back to first base quickly is Nick Hill. Quick watch over at first base being put on by Braden Mayencourt. Rachel, quick head tilt on the mound. Giacalone just misses the pitch as it's fouled into the stands. Might even have went beyond. It was close to the railing. 0-2 look here to Giacalone. Nobody warming up in the Weyburn Beavers bullpen. Mentioned that Rachel can go a long way. Despite giving up the runs, I think they stick with him at least for the next 2 to 3 innings. Fouled off by Giacalone, and a frustrated look for a guy who swings the bat with some aggression. See the home plate umpire, I think, calling for an extra ball. They're running out down there already with the amount of foul balls there have been. Rachel, Giacalone, high hit one over towards right field. It's got enough distance, but it just goes foul. It would have been really close to that 350 pole. You never know what the carry looks like, and the angle's hard to see from here. That was almost a poke-off by Giacalone. I'm not sure how he got it that far. It speaks to the power in his bat. So Nick Hill will stay over at first base, and Giacalone will redo again at 0-2. It's a fully loaded Weyburn Beavers bullpen when they do have to get to that point today. I don't assume it will be a complete game for Rachel. Rachel, pitch will miss outside. He liked the pitch, but no offering from Giacalone. Rachel, quick look over to first base. Not a long lead for Nick Hill. Giacalone just holding off. Nearly stepped on the plate. He was leaning far ahead. Really like the patient approach here from Giacalone. We've seen in the past batters trying to do too much for the Mavericks, swinging early in counts. Giacalone behind here, but he's stayed in a good spot, kept his swings consistent. Rachel back over to first. Nick Hill back in time. Another close call. It's not a long lead off for Hill. Giacalone. 2-2 on the way from Rachel. And a swing and a miss. Off speed. Foul tip into the glove. So that is out number 2 via the strikeout for Rachel. Johnny Volcano. 1 extra base hit already. He can take over, I believe, the all-time record with an extra base hit here. Throw down to first again. They're not staring away from Nick Hill, Rachel, and Mayencourt. They're keeping a close eye on him. And the Mavericks aren't a team that steals a lot. I think Rachel just feels he can get it off of the lead. High pitch, toss down to first. Hill back in time. Good awareness there behind the plate from Gurney. Almost picking on Hill in a sense. Volcano. 1-0 look already. Rachel takes his time. Volcano just missing, and that into the bleachers. Volcano will shake things up. Just a storied career for Johnny. Mentioned that he's going to break the all-time games played record, and you know, you don't want to jinx it or anything, but we won't have a broadcast till after he breaks it if he plays every game. So, you know, would like to speak here about it now. An impressive run for Volcano, and you know, when you log that many games, not only does it speak to your loyalty to an organization and your play. I mean, if you're not good enough, you won't last in the league. But at the same time, you got to get a little bit lucky, and Volcano's ability to stay healthy has been impressive over the years. Volcano doesn't offer there. It's 2-2 as he works the count to an even point. Nick Hill still over on first base. Volcano, swing and a miss, and looks like he fouled it off. They're going to say that it tipped off the end of the bat. He'll help with the recovery of the ball, give it over to Gurney. And Gurney wasn't a fan of it, so he ends up tossing it back to the dugout. Not sure if that was trickery there from Volcano, giving a faulty ball to the other team. I'm sure he wasn't really aware. Clean off of the plate quickly here, and then Zach Rachel will hunt for one more strike, and with that, one more out in this inning. Which started off with a 2-run home run for Carter Roth. Rachel. And put on pause there was Johnny Volcano. I thought it was a strike as well. Volcano, no swing. You could see Zach Rachel walking off the mound. There's been a few of those so far today, mostly in the batter's box. I'm sure the Beavers aren't happy with a couple of the calls that have been had so far, and it's gotten them off rhythm. We'll see if they can recover from that. Runner going to go here. Volcano shoots a pop-up into right field. Long way to go for all 3 members on the Beavers. And Ryan Doffney, leaning backwards, makes the grab for out number 3. Now he is slow to get up, but an impressive play for Doffney, who adjusted at the last second. That ball swirling in the air. But the Mavericks, another 2-run inning, and it's via the home run. Carter Roth this time, a 2-run shot into left field, has the Mavs up by 4. 9 consecutive batters sat down for Julian Pokorny. It has been a great day on the mound so far, working with his former Brooks Bombers counterpart, Nate King. And that battery, they found some magic here so far, some electricity. And it's the second time that Hugh Montgomery will see Pokorny today. Pokorny evens the count up with a strike, 1-1 so far. Gotta love the pace that Pokorny's working with, and he hasn't gotten rattled outside of maybe the first at-bat of the afternoon. Almost said evening there. The switch-up's getting to me. Pokorny. 1-2 count here to Hugh Montgomery. Montgomery fouls this one wide. He did a lot of that in his last at-bat against Pokorny. A challenging one. Just sticking with it was Pokorny. Found something that he liked and located. Longer wait here for Montgomery. Fouls another one back to the netting. Noah Brooks is going to wait on deck. I talked about it before, but the new look jerseys for the Weyburn Beavers are quite cool. There's a lot going on the front, but I love how the number pops on the back. Red outline and, of course, the blue numbers. Pokorny misses wide, putting a lot into that pitch, and now it's 2-2. It's always interesting when a team like the Beavers, who don't traditionally wear black, bring in a whole new color scheme and make that the primary color on their jersey. We've seen that more and more over the last couple of years in the WCBL as the league has started to grow. Here's Pokorny on the 2-2. And strike 3 called. Montgomery not happy again. He's going to fight for an answer at the plate as he's back to the dugout. Another K for Julian Pokorny. What a day. And it continues to look even brighter and brighter. So one out here in the top of the fourth. If there's anybody who's going to snap the slide here for the Beavers, it is Noah Brooks. An impressive showing a day ago. And first pitch he'll take here is high for ball 1. 0-for-1 in the game is Brooks. Pokorny only at 51 pitches here. 5 Ks on the game. King unable to bring that pitch up. It'll be 2-0. 2 fantastic framers behind the plate for the Medicine Hat Mavericks. Jamel Chabot playing in previous games and Nate King here today. Just a pitcher's best friend. And you can see Pokorny reaping the benefits of that as well. Brooks shoots this one all the way over into right foul territory. Will land over the batting cages, and now it's a 2-2 count. Pardon me, 2-1, the official signal from the home plate umpire. Pokorny. Brooks holds tight, inside pitch this go around. So Pokorny going all over the zone and making it happen, and making it happen usually here in the booth is James Tubb. James, happy to have you back up here in our fourth. What a day for Pokorny so far.
It has been. It's the start the Mavs needed from already.
No miss in the dirt, the first walk of the game for Pokorny. If you get up here and you jinx it just by being in the booth, James, I'm not going to be happy, at least for Pokorny's sake. But at the same time, it's been a couple of tough starts at home for Julian Pokorny. This is the level that I think Ryan Reed and company thought he was going to reach earlier on. But now we have it, and it's good to see.
It is, and, we saw it at times really right before he left the team for a week or so, and then, just a change of pace. But really, it's been a sight to see, and welcomed effort.
Pokorny gets a ground ball over to Carter Roth, a fake over to second base. So the runner will move along here. Fielder's choice by the Mavs shortstop. 4-3 to get the out. Second out of the inning. Pokorny searching for one more here in the fourth.
Would have been hard to turn 2 on that. Roth having to go to his left. Just would have had to spin it to get it to second quick. And, just with the speed the Beavers have on the base there, it's kind of tough.
So now checking in at the dish is going to be Ryan Daphne. Chance to score here for the Weyburn Beavers, who trail 4-0 in this game. Daphne, the right guy to do it, but it looks like he was beat up after making that catch over in right field to end the last inning. We'll see if that affects him at the plate. Pokorny into the glove here. 1-0 look to Daphne, who has one of the lower batting stances in the league. Daphne, ground ball. Nick Hill has it in the webbing. Fader to first. Giacalone, the grab. And another quick one for Julian Picorni. He is dialed in on the mound, and a look to the sky and a celebratory move for the Mavericks right-hander. It's been a great day, James, as we said, from him, and it has allowed his offense to wake up in some ways. It's not a 10 runs being put up by the Mavericks, but early on, a 4-run look with 2 home runs, just really positive going forward.
100%, and I think the biggest thing, it starts with Eric Alder, who's hot as of late, and we talked a lot about him last night, and if they can get that him going in the lineup, that's a big part to lefty bat. And then you look at even more important, Carter Roth to get a 2-run home run, and has struggled at times as of late, really post All-Star break, and not to his own standard. So a 2-run home run there, and he got all of it. You could hear the crack of the bat. So it's a good start for the Mavs in this one, and you want to keep building on it because they need to keep building momentum here moving forward.
And building on his performance today will be Zach Rachel on the mound. He'll get back up, stretch out, and we'll be back. Eric Calder. It has been an entertaining last couple of at-bats for him, and he already has a home run in this game, James. The roll just doesn't stop.
No, it doesn't, and he's really excelled. I don't know what it has been this week, if it's the right Gatorade color he's got, or, the line drives that found gloves before are finding spots, and it's just working for him.
Calder. This time a pop-up towards center field. Montgomery there to take it down, so one pitch, one out here for the Mavericks. A fly ball for Calder and a little bit of a head tilt, but he's not going to take it too seriously or too personally with the success that he has had. Now Nate King will come up to the plate.
You talk about a guy like Eric Calder, you would think at the times when he was struggling, was finding gloves a lot, that it would weigh on him, but the positive attitude seemed to stay, and I think he's being rewarded for it now.
Rachel. Pitch to King, and it is down for a strike. Off speed look inside. King named an All-Star for the first time in his 3-year WCBL career this year. Got the start in the big game. He's been a part of the Mavs catching trio again this season. Here's a pop-up into center field. Busy day for Hugh Montgomery, and that's 2 in a row to his glove.
Really aggressive swings here in this inning. I think Rachel's thrown maybe 3 or 4 pitches. The Mavs are really trying to swing free here, and he's still below 40 pitches coming up here against Josh Stark. So if you're the Mavs, you want to be aggressive. It's worked for you. 4 runs right now on a pair of home runs, but wouldn't mind trying to wear out what is, I would say, Weyburn's ace.
Zach Rachel. Could be an argument between him and Logan Lynch, of course, who was named an All-Star. But Rachel's back half has been really good as well. Lynch has kind of teetered at times, but, an impressive throw over the ball. And we saw what Josh Pritchard did yesterday. Weyburn is gifted this year in terms of what they have for arms. 0-1 count here to Stark. He's going to shield this one, pop up over towards third base. Ranging out near the base and making the play was Will Sevier. So the Mavs, a quicker inning this time around. They could not keep their stride of home runs and 2 runs in an inning going along, and it stops. And they still have a 4-0 lead here at home. Julian Picorni, a big part of that. He'll return to the mound. Zach Rachel keeping that pitch count down, as James had mentioned, and that will be important as this one moves along. Fifth inning of work here for Julian Picorni. 5 strikeouts on the day so far, just 1 walk, and a first pitch strike to begin this inning. That has been the difference for Picorni, is getting ahead in counts. He really hasn't let that slip.
No, he's done a really good job of working aggressive to hitters, and even the bigger part, which is the harder part, is putting them away, getting that out, whether it's a strikeout, ground out, fly out, whatever it's been. He has seen that in the past where he would go up 0-2 on a hitter, and then it would fall away, and it would usually result in a pretty loud hit.
Well, and your confidence can be shaken. I think we've seen that with some of these Weyburn bats. Swing and a miss. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, a swing to top it off, and Picorni now has 6 on his day.
And even in a bigger part is he's really doing a good job of painting the corners and getting the calls, and that's a credit to Nate King as well. And what that has done early is they're maybe stealing some strikes, and it's frustrating the Weyburn side. We've seen it a couple times where they're complaining about calls, and if you can get in the head like that and just keep throwing strikes, it makes it a hard day for the hitters.
So with 1 down, now up to the plate comes Robert Gurney. Gurney shoots this one towards center field. And Jalen King is going to lay right under it for out number 2. That flashy red glove can be seen from miles away in center field.
And it's good to see Jalen King moving up and around. Took a couple of hard knocks against the wall last night and, went 1 for 2. One went over, and he caught another one at the wall. So, and, he's had success today at the plate. He's been a really good ad as of late here for the Mavs.
Yeah, it just seems like a fun guy to be around and a guy who loves the game. You could say that about anybody, but he's just so thankful to be playing up here and that he got the call. He was just looking for an opportunity. First pitch here is a ball from Picorni, facing off against Austin Boylan. They had a good go-around last time. Boylan, a swing and a miss. Picorni, you've mentioned he has moved the ball around well. His off-speed has been diving today, and that has really been a noticeable difference. Picorni, the 1-1 to Boylan, called strike, and now it's 1-2.
It's maybe the movement and just the shape of the pitches that we didn't see from Derek Archer last night, and that's not a slight against Derek Archer. I just don't think it was his night, and for Picorni, it's working right now.
Picorni, swing and a miss for Boylan. 7 strikeouts. How about that for Julian Picorni? 5 big ones here for the Mavs. He keeps a 4-0 lead intact. 1, 2, 3, 4. You could count all the way till 12. Julian Picorni continues to file through Beavers batters. Jalen King, second plate appearance of the game here against Zach Rachel. King, you mentioned it off air, James. Just what an ad, an impressive guy for this Mavs team, and he'll hold on the first pitch here. I don't really know yet what his like specialty of all specialties is, because he's done so many things well. We haven't really seen the power on display, but how he moves in center field and his bat to ball skills, those are standout-ish. Good play by one of the league's top gloves. Trevor Dale brings that down right at the nostrils.
Yeah, that was tough. That scream single for Jalen King, and just no such luck with a guy like Dale out there.
Carter Roth, a home run. I don't know if anybody had that on their bingo card today, James, but an impressive look, high shot, and now he'll return to the plate to face Rachel again.
Be interesting to see how he attacks Roth now, just with how well of a swing he put on that home run, how it changes the approach.
Roth fouls this one backwards. One thing about Rachel, you hear the term, he kept hitters off balance. He hasn't done that in the baseball sense, but we've seen some stumbles in the box today from Mavericks players. You think of Frankie Giacalone and, of course, Carter Roth. At least he has them moving around a lot. There's been some struggles outside of that. Roth snaps this one foul.
That's part of it, right? Keep them unsettled. Don't let them think it's their box. And, it is a bit of a battle, right? It's primal, man versus man with a stick, man with a rock. And, so you want to try to win that. And that starts, it can start mentally and then obviously, trying to beat someone.
Rachel, 0-2 look here to Carter Roth. And he attacks it. Roth gets a pop-up. Braden Mayencourt over at first base, protecting his Ryan Doffney, and that is taken down for the second out. Here comes Evan Morrison up to bat. Tough night I keep saying night, afternoon for Morrison.
It couldn't
the
be
change
brighter
is
outside right now, Truman.
Yeah.
There's been so few Sunday afternoon games here, though.
I think this is the third of the year for the Mavericks. Is that not crazy?
Yeah, third and last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you believe it? This
No.
is our second to last game potentially here in the box. The Mavs trying to extend that for us. We'll always take more calls. First pitch to Morrison is a strike from Rachel. The good part about Zach Rachel is despite giving up the home runs, he has not let this game unravel. He hasn't let it get out of hand. He's only given up 5 hits. Still a pretty good line for today. High pitch here to Morrison on the second, and it'll be 1-1.
Ifs and buts, but for Rachel, it has only been, the home runs, and he's done a good job to work efficiently. So if they were solo home runs, and even with a 4-run lead, the Beavers are still in this.
Morrison off the tip of the bat and foul. Morrison moved down to the 2 spot, and there's been off and on games similar to when he was in the leadoff spot. I believe he also batted in the 3 hole this year, but he really hasn't moved out of the top 3. Rachel, 2-1 upcoming. Morrison, good swing over towards right field, and it's down for a base hit. The 6th hit of the game for the Mavs as Morrison reaches. Maybe a 2-out rally incoming here for the Mavs.
Those hits to right field that drop down, those are ones last night that got caught off the Mavs bats. And, it's a good one for Morrison there just to plop it in there and get on base here with 2 outs.
Nick Hill will wait for Zach Rachel. After this, the Mavs, they go on the road for quite a long time, and they'll play their last home game here against Swift Current. That's later on next week. But they see the Berries and the Miller Express during that stretch on the road. It is a fearful one in many ways, but if you can pick up a win here today, then you feel like you can almost beat anybody, and you need to be on the winning side of things right about now for Medicine Hat because it has not been consistent.
No, they need to come out of the weekend with just the half game back of Weyburn here, and then you go into the week in the gauntlet, and even after next Saturday's home game, it's 3 more on the road.
Nick Hill takes for a strike. I think the home plate umpire has not been getting much love from the players down there today, and it's because he has later movements. It's not that he's questioning his call. Everybody has their own style, and his is a bit more paused.
And he does like the outside pitch. The outside corner is a little larger.
Check on Morrison over at first base. He can steal, but as mentioned earlier in the broadcast, the Mavericks really don't. I don't think anybody has 10 stolen bases yet. It's kind of an anomaly for a team that has the all-time leader in steals in a season in Braden DeSonia.
For now.
Good point. Here's a tough play over from third base, and it's on time into the webbing. What a throw over on that side by Will Sevier. He gets the third, strands Morrison, Still a 4-0 game for the Mavericks here. The Beavers make it quick. Zach Rachel still working on the bump.
Have you ever wondered if there's one thing that connects people from across our province? Something that connects the coffee shop to the spray park, or the brewery to the rodeo, the campground to the sports field. It's pretty amazing when you think about how it's all connected, because it truly is. And it's all we think about, so you don't have to.
First pitch from Julian Picorni. Take a guess. It's probably going to be a strike, and it is. New beginning here in the... Wow. Can't believe we're already at this point in the game, James.
Top of the sixth.
Flying by, top of the sixth. Been a quick performance so far from Picorni, and that is allowed for the Mavs outfielders and infielders, I guess you could say, too, to work into this game well. It takes pressure off of your defenders. And lots of pressure off of Picorni. There's been no one on the base path for the Beavers with just the one walk as well.
Yeah, Picorni has done a really good job of limiting things, and he gets a 1-2 count in here now off a foul ball that wasn't originally called, but it looks like it fouled in Nate King's glove, and now Picorni gets to work from ahead here.
So it is 1-2 to Trevor Dale. Picorni looking to pull that in was Nate King. It was going to be a tough job to get it there for a strike. So now it's 2-2 to Dale. Picorni on the 2-2. Hard hit over towards left field. Diving out and making the play in left. Josh Stark, phenomenal.
Needed that. If you have Julian Picorni working as well as he is, he's doing everything he can on the mound, and the defense backs him up there. It's a really nice catch from Josh Stark, who we've seen almost exclusively in right field this year. Moves to left today with Evan Morrison in right, and he makes one heck of a catch.
If you can move well on skates, you can move well on your feet. And Josh Stark showing off his fine footwork over in left field. That's out number one. Pitch will miss outside here to Owen Mayencourt. Mayencourt, just the second at-bat of the game. That's tough for a team to get into a rhythm when you're only seeing your second at-bat, and we're in the sixth inning.
Especially with how quick last night went, in the sense that they got many at-bats.
Here's a ground ball over to Nick Hill. Fields it. High throw to Giacalone, but it is there in time. Nick Hill likes to throw above the waist over to first, and it makes it easy for Giacalone, but at times he's got to stretch a little bit further.
He does, especially on those nights where the sun really pops out and they have to decide if they're going to bounce throws or how they're going to combat that. And today, when it's just straight sun, it's almost a little easier, or it appears easier that way.
Hugh Montgomery, 0 for so far tonight. I said tonight again. I just got to remove that from the vocabulary completely.
Get a tonight jar up here.
Yeah, good point. Picorni misses twice in the opposing batter's box. King will run out to grab the ball, and never mind, he's going to elect to get a new one.
I think with the calls they've been getting on the outside corner, really trying to work there, and if you can steal strikes that way, it works good, but you don't want to become predictable that way and have the Beavers expecting that it's going to be outside pitches to start accounts.
Picorni, high pitch, and now it's 3-0 to Hugh Montgomery. So just the one walk previous for Julian Picorni. You got to assume he's probably going to elect to go in the zone this time. And it is a strike to Montgomery, who lays off. So now interesting, a 3-1 spot. The Beavers can get on via the walk, but you have to be thinking about swinging, especially as the game's gotten later and later. Montgomery gets that call, and he has had a rough day at the plate, a roller coaster for Montgomery, and he doesn't like that call either.
No, now if you could, it kind of goes against what I just said, but you could try to work that outside corner again. It looks like they will.
And they don't get the call. Nate King turned into a statue at the very end, and it's a walk to Hugh Montgomery. Maybe the umpire feeling, it was close the last time to Montgomery. I got to give a little leeway this time.
Yeah, and it's smart to work the outside there, especially Montgomery doesn't think it's a strike. You go back to it, see if he lays off again. He lays off that one, but just not able to get the strike calls. King.
Here's Noah Brooks, hot one off the hand of Julian Picorni, and it's fouled off. Brooks into the batter's box, always wearing those white batter's gloves. He's going to miss on a pitch here. And mentioned the eye black yesterday. The style is unique for Brooks, but he stayed to it for a majority of his WCBL career. Here's Brooks, just fans that one off, and now the count will be 1-2. He spent last summer with Weyburn and then went up to the West Coast League to play a little bit for Edmonton. Beautiful stadium. Remax, I believe it's still called up there, and you get to play for an organization like that. Did so with his former Beavers teammate in Owen McConnell, and that is a loaded group and a high level of baseball being played in that league and with the Riverhawks. Pitch to Brooks. Won't get the call, and Nate King seems to be confused.
Yeah, I don't know if that one was high or inside or neither, but not able to get that call.
Picorni, 2-2 Montgomery at first. He's going to go. High hit over towards right field, all the way back, and it bounces off the base of the wall. A long throw into second. Volcano's going to try and relay, but the run comes in to score, and that is the speed for Hugh Montgomery and the power for Noah Brooks. They mesh together to get the first run for Weyburn.
It is, and the first hit of the day for the Beavers coming here in the 6th inning. And, with Montgomery moving on that pitch, he had a better chance to score. I think if he would have stayed at first, you would almost expect with a 2-2 count, would have been harder to score. But that's smart base running and aggressiveness. And as pitching coach, Andrew Bench described last night, that's Weyburn Beavers grit, and they're able to get a run across here in the 6th.
Regardless of what pitcher you're watching, you always want to be close to a no-hitter. And, we got almost 6 full innings of no-hit baseball from Picorni. Here's Roth. Underhand toss to Giacalone, and the Mavs do get out of the inning, but not without a little bit of damage being done by the Beavers. They get one. It is a RBI double for Noah Brooks, and the game is now just 3 runs apart.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Buy Canadian, store Canadian.
been an interesting last couple of days for Frankie Giacalone, James. I'm not sure if he's thinking about that next home run or being close to that milestone, but yeah, it's been a bit of a fall off in production here from a guy who swings the bat really well and at a high clip.
It has, and he's had good swings and he's made good contact, just not getting it to fall, kind of a la Eric Carter from what we've seen throughout the year.
So Rachel back on the mound. James, you mentioned off air, his pitch count's still very low. It could be one of those rare occurrences where you see a guy pitch a full game and he doesn't get the win. Obviously, the leash is long here for Rachel. Giacalone struggling with the off speed as he swings and misses.
You'd almost think he's expecting fastballs and just not getting them here to start this count, and a couple of not great swings on those pitches.
And then you start to guess at the same time, and when you do see a fastball, then you're thinking about off speed, so it's almost a pretzel for the brain. 1-2 now to Giacalone. Worked his last count back, but still the results just have not been there, and the Mavs need him to come alive. He is a pivotal player in their lineup. Things are on when Giacalone is on. See what he sees next from Rachel. Giacalone, hard hit ball over towards right center, and it's down for probably 2. Giacalone turning for second base. An awkward bounce off the wall, and he is in. A double for Frankie Giacalone. Welcome back, Frankie. We expected to see it at some point. It's good that it occurred in this part.
It is. That's a good swing for him to go the other way and to put a double into the right center field. You want to pull it. We've seen him be able to pull it way over that fence, and to go the other way, just kind of a get-right moment and a hit that you hope leaks into his next at-bat.
Johnny Volcano heads up to the plate. He's already had a big hit in this game, and he's really close to that all-time doubles record. Would love one here as he fouls this aside. Couple of other games going on in WCBL. All afternoon games on Sundays. You usually don't see night ones. There is a projected later game, or was supposed to be, for the Bulls and Cactus Rats, but both games postponed, interesting enough. So Energy City, it feels like they're 10 games behind on everybody else now. I don't know how they're going to get them all in. Volcano drops that in for a base hit, and he'll move ahead. Frankie Giacalone take first base. What a game so far for Johnny Volcano. He is willing this team offensively.
He is. He's doing a really good job of being that veteran late in the line, or down in the lineup a bit. I mean, he's hitting fifth, so he's not that low.
No.
But, he's done a really good job of just being consistent and just being Johnny Volcano, and that's a big part of the reason why they're leading in this game.
There is nobody that wants to make the playoffs more than Johnny Volcano, because he knows that this is it. He's dedicated a lot to this organization. You think about that, 4 summers in a row, and, of course, family members to come with. He does not want to see it end in the regular season. He's been to the playoffs in all of his Mavericks seasons. Check on Volcano at first from Rachel. Runners sit at the corners here. There's still nobody out. You get Eric Calder. I mean, I can see the smile from Ryan Reed from here. Rachel, Calder takes the pitch, off speed in for strike 1. Calder, a tap of the head. Not challenging the call, of course. We don't have that in this league. Volcano, short lead over at first base. Calder just misses. He gets a piece, that one over towards the dugout deck on the left-hand side of the park.
Looked like another off-speed there from Rachel, and you wonder if he maybe doesn't want to go fastball against Eric Calder. I wasn't up here, so I didn't see the exact spin on the home run, but if that's what it was, and now if you're Calder, you get to try to fight off here, and any hit anywhere will bring in a run, so that's all you need to do at this time.
Calder swaying in the batter's box, 0-2. Yeah, deep fly ball would score Giacalone for sure. Pitch way away here from Rachel. Loss of control there on the delivery.
Johnny Volcano getting quite a lead on that one. You wonder if maybe he wants to try to channel Hugh Montgomery from the last inning and get a little bit moving here on the base paths.
Calder, quick tap of the chest. Rachel. Pitch on the way to Calder. High fly ball over towards left field. Good carry, good height, and it's gone. Eric Calder, you can stop now. That's another home run, another multi-home run game. And this time goes to left field. My goodness. The Mavs now up 6-1, and Eric Calder feeling it right now.
Yeah, it's a really nice swing, and it's kind of similar to the double we saw from Frankie Giacalone. It goes the other way, and he's able to power that to left center and over the wall. And what can you say about Eric Calder right now? As you said, 2 multi-home run games, 5 RBIs in this one. That's quite a day for the Ontario product. Had to say it, Truman.
Had to say it. Nate King up into the batter's box now, and you don't have to deal with a lot of pressure if you're Nate King today. Obviously, Picorni's worked well. Here's a fly ball over to right field, and it's a quick out here to King. First of this inning for the Beavers, but when you're working with Picorni and he's dealing well, and you come up behind Eric Calder twice, I mean, life's good if you're Nate King situationally. And here's Josh Stark. A big play in left field in the last inning. Turns in at the plate here, and his team leading bigger than they did before, so talk about removing pressure. That helps Stark as well. He is 0 for 2 today, still looking for his first hit. First pitch to Stark here, and it'll be ball 1.
Yeah, I don't know if Josh Stark can get back to the torrid pace he started the season, but just as close as he can would be a big add for the Mavs down in the order a little bit, and a lefty bat to play off of Eric Calder, to have 2 lefties like that going, and obviously Morrison at the top of the order.
It's crazy that a night ago for Weyburn, they were limiting the Mavs in hits. They've got 9. That's already more than they did last night. And you think about Weyburn's hit total, they had 20 in yesterday's game. They just have 1 today. What a stark difference in numbers. Speaking of Stark, there's a base hit for Josh as he's off to first. Some trouble in the outfield there for Montgomery, but he recovers in time, and Stark limited to a single.
Feels like a typical Josh Stark hit right up the middle there, and just had a reach.
Now Jalen King will take his time. Jackson Henderson out again to talk with Zach Rachel. He's into the 6th inning. I think the Beavers hope that he can at least get out of this one. Then they go to their bullpen, and I would assume the configuration is they'll use 2 guys, 1 for 2 innings, and then 1 for the 9th. I would assume probably their closer, whoever they have in that role now that Logan Kinter has departed. Of course, that's if everything goes right and pitchers are working well.
And there is some movement. It looks like it's Keaton Husband warming up down in the bullpen, so a Weyburn product warming up in the Beaver pen.
And there's 2 Husbands on the team now. Camden Husband, the only affiliate player listed on the Beavers this year. Camden joining the team later. So they'll have husbands for the considerable future. I guess no divorces happening in Weyburn. Here's Jalen King, 1 on for the Mavs. Just the 1 out. You can't contain yourself, can you?
That was a good one.
I thought it was kind of weak, actually, but I'm glad you enjoyed.
Weyburn divorce lawyers are in shambles.
Here's Rachel. Pop up for King over towards right field. A long carry with that wind moving left to right today. And it is active out there, which is something that we saw a lot last year. It's been up and down in 2026, but it returns here, and in a big way. It's not just a breeze. It's starting to howl out there.
It is. It's a stark contrast to last night, where those flags might as well have been taped to that pole, and they weren't moving at all.
So Zach Rachel, he's an out away from getting out of the inning, but he's had his troubles with Carter Roth already. Roth, a guy who just reaches base so often. He comes up here 1 for 3 on the game, but a 2-run home run that makes 1 for 3 sound a whole lot better.
It does. It's a lot of damage in it at bat, and yeah, I think it's just the threat that Carter Roth brings. I mean, everyone knows about the All-Star game and knows what he's done the last 2 years, or these last 2 seasons.
Roth snaps this one underneath the glove, and so Will Sevier close to making an inning-ending play. Instead, it is Roth on. The Mavs have 2 on the base path, and it brings up Evan Morrison. Morrison struggling so far throughout the early part of the season. He's been pretty good today, 2 for 3 on the afternoon. And you think about yesterday, maybe not a night that goes his way, but the ability to bounce back, that's showing the maturity from Morrison, and you got to be impressed with what he has done in this game against Weyburn. Here's Rachel. Pitch to Morrison. He's going to take for ball number 1. There's not a lot of Mavs batters who aren't playing well today. I'll say that much. We're getting close to the area where everybody has a hit.
Looks like all but it's just Nick Hill and Nate King without a hit here today from the Mavs.
Morrison. Oh, tank job over to right field. Forget about it. Evan Morrison, a 3-run home run, and that one is so far gone.
He's had success today. Flew out to left field in the first inning, and then from there, a double, a single, and a home run now for the Medicine Hat product, and a 3-run home run. The second 3-run blast of this inning for the Mavs, and that's a big swing from Evan Morrison. That's the power we've seen for years, and there's kids out there looking for that ball, and they're going quite a distance for him to get that one.
I was going to say, check your windows if you live in the new apartment complex to the right, because Evan Morrison, he was hunting that way, and usually the only time that you see a window get broken by a ball near a golf course, that swing was golfed by Evan Morrison. Wow, what a rip, and that will send Zach Rachel packing his final start as a Weyburn Beavers member, and not the way that he would like to have ended it. A batting practice home run for Evan Morrison. The Mavs now lead 10-1. Nick Hill jumps to the first pitch he sees from a new arm for the Beavers. Austin Boylan all the way out, and that will be out number 3. So it only took one pitch later. An easy day on the mound so far. Didn't even get to introduce Keaton Husband officially. We will when I assume that he will return in the bottom half of our next inning. But Medicine Hat, stand up. A couple of deep home runs. Evan Morrison with maybe the furthest that he's hit in his hometown park. The Mavs lead by 9. Spoke a lot about long innings yesterday, and the bottom of the 6th here today, the longest that we have seen. The Mavs recording 6 runs during that time span, and a lot of work now for Weyburn as they trail big. And they're still up against Julian Pokorny, who's yet to come out of this game. I'm sure Coach Ryan Reed and his staff are hoping Pokorny can get them at least one more. And with swings like that, you're looking in the right direction.
He had an extended break there, and who knows what that does. Maybe it gives him a little bit more juice. The fiery attitude he has, I bet it helps to see a couple of big flies.
Julian Pokorny away from the park, a pin collector. He's been pinning strikes to the zone so far today, and just being at this game makes you want to come back. Pokorny. Here's a ground ball over towards Volcano. Catches it off the low hop. And Giacalone had to get out of the way. An errant throw from Volcano, who's frustrated. Tap of the chest over at short. And that's how interesting innings begin. Plays like that. So the first error of the day for the Mavericks. They've kept it down after yesterday. That total reaching a little higher.
Yeah, they had. And Volcano just pulling that one a little bit. Wanting to get as much as he could on it. It was a bit of a slow roller to his right. And just pulls Giacalone off the bag.
Pitch located for a strike. Checking in at the plate for the Weyburn Beavers is Will Sevier. And the time's going to be called here. Pinch runner being called. Ryan Daphne is going to come off first base here. I think he was dealing with something after that play over in right field. And smart for the Beavers in a game where they trail big. You want to have your star in to force a comeback or get to that point, make it interesting, but you don't want to risk his health down the line, especially because they could be a playoff team.
They need Ryan Daphne in the lineup, and he did his job there, getting on base, and he can take the rest of the afternoon off and get ready for the next week.
Pokorny strides forward, pitches a little bit high, so it'll go to 1-1. Can't directly see who the runner is.
I'm trying.
He looks fairly tall, which means it could be Colt Uphold, but Uphold played yesterday. I'm looking for the mustache out there when it comes to Uphold, a signature part of his game. There's a foul off and a fastball from Pokorny. It seems like his velo's rising, attacking at the hands there against Sevier. I think it looks like it's Jared Cramp over at first base. That would make sense. Cramp a middle infielder, so he'll slot him well at second for Daphne.
Yeah, it looks like it's Cramp.
Swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Julian Pokorny. Make it 8 now. And if he wants to climb into the record books for the Medicine Hat Mavericks, be inside the top 7, which is mainly recorded on the Mavericks website. 11 is the total to tie. The only person we've seen surpass that in recent memory was Josh Landry in the playoffs with 12. Dylan Esquivel had 11. The all-time record, I believe, is 15, James, and that might be a big ask unless Pokorny obviously finishes the rest of the game.
Yeah, I think it would take a 9-inning effort, and it probably did then as well to get 15.
It was Michael Mueller who got the record with 15 strikeouts. Giacalone caught that one in the stomach. Cramp headed back to first base.
We saw the last inning, Weyburn finding a run on moving the runners, playing a little hit and run. I think Nate King just trying to limit that and keep Cramp honest there at first.
Pokorny charges towards the plate, a slow roller. Nate King is going to run after it. Pokorny out of the way, soft toss and a spin move for a little pizzazz from Frankie Giacalone. That'll be out number 2. James, you mentioned you assumed that Michael Mueller pitched the full game. It was actually 8 innings, 15 strikeouts, which is remarkable. That was back in 2011. So as kind of the league shifted over to the newer scoring system and stats were being recorded and are still around to be found, that's when Mueller made that mark.
That's a pretty good effort. Almost 2 strikeouts an inning. That's more than what you'd want from your starting pitcher.
Pokorny. Here's a high fly ball over towards right field. Covering there was Morrison, having trouble with the sun, and he's going to lose it in the air. A run comes in to score, and you can see the frustration over there from Morrison. Just couldn't locate that ball up high.
That's tough. It's right where the sun is, and he just couldn't find it. Couldn't get the glove up, and had the sunglasses on, and he almost wondered if it caught a glare, had to take them off, and just couldn't find it. Landed right beside him, and for the Beavers, it's a bit of luck. They bring in a run, and it's still only an 8-run difference.
I believe that will be charged as an error. I don't see the official score on the score clock here, but for Morrison, he wants that one back. 2 errors now in the inning for the Mavericks, and actually it is recorded as a hit. It's a bit confusing. I got no words for that one. Picorni looking for the last out. A runner over on second here for the Beavers. Picorni rifles, hard hit ball over towards right field. It's got a good track to it, and it is gone. Wow, what a rally from the Weyburn Beavers. And that one finds its way out of the ballpark. Trevor Dale, known for hitting home runs in Medicine Hat. It has been a while, but he strikes gold. And the Beavers, now this lead is only 6 for Medicine Hat. And you got to feel like the Mavs are questioning things. Pressure being put on from Weyburn.
And that's, you give up an error, and that's what it can lead to is a runner stays on, and you're able to score from there. And it's where you got to try to play clean baseball here. Now 3 runs in this inning from Weyburn, 2 of them on errors, or at least 1 on a counted error. The other one maybe will more than likely get changed to an error, I would assume.
Oh, I would really hope so. Picorni. First pitch is a ball here in the next at-bat, and it really gave Weyburn life. They obviously smelled blood, able to capitalize. They get 3 runs and swing and a miss. 1-1 count now to Owen Mancourt. Hugh Montgomery waiting on deck. The longest inning for Julian Picorni. He won't be tagged with these runs unearned because of the errors. Picorni pulling that down as king, high for ball 2. Picorni's line so far in this game really good. 7 strikeouts, 2 walks, just 1 earned run, 1 hit given up. Of course, we mentioned 2 on the clock, but we're just going to say that it's 1 for fun. Or I guess 3 now with the home run, so I guess 2 for now. So many numbers that we have to sift through. 2-2 here to Owen Mancourt. Picorni on the way. Pitch outside, no swing. Picorni getting really close. I think that is Levi Tibbetts ready in the bullpen. Mavs would love to give him 2 innings. Picorni, a walk. The inning will continue.
There was J.J. Harnett was also warming up at one point, so you wonder maybe if Harnett comes in, if there's a bit more trouble in this inning, or it looks like that's who is ready to go.
Yeah, Picorni will come out of the game. J.J. Harnett moving in. What a day for Julian Picorni. He was on pace to maybe get into that top 7 strikeout-wise for the Mavs, and a standing ovation for the Mavs righties. 7 Ks on the day, and you can't fault him for what occurred. Picorni will head off the mound, and he puts the Mavs in a good position to look for a win. J.J. Harnett, not sure how long he's going to be in this game. He's going to come in for one for sure. Got to expect that we'll see Levi Tibbetts at some point. One on here for the Weyburn Beavers. And Harnett is in high leverage reliever here for the Medicine Hat Mavericks. Played at PBA Lethbridge this year. Didn't get into a whole lot of action. That is going to change when he won't be a freshman anymore. I hate that system. We'll just call him a second year. That's how they go about it in Canadian baseball ranks, when he enters his second year. High pitch here. King will take that for a ball. First two pitches from Harnett are balls.
He's been a big part of this Mavs bullpen this year. Wouldn't be shocked if he leads the Mavs and maybe even the league in appearances, just what he's been able to do out of the pen for Ryan Reed.
That's 3 consecutive up top for Harnett. He has had some performances recently that I'm sure are not up to his standard. Harnett, leg kick, and a strike given out. Harnett. A pitch inside, so it is a walk. Things are unraveling and continuing to do just that for the Mavericks. Hugh Montgomery off to first base. It's probably good for the Mavericks' sake that there's a runner ahead of Montgomery, or else he'd be off for second. And it looks like Cam Williams is coming out.
Look at the pinch hitter for Noah Brooks. Joe Medill.
Joe Medill, an all-star so far this season. Another guy who can play in the outfield. And Brooks coming out of the game, that's major. I mean, Noah Brooks is a heck of a player. Joe Medill, that's not knocking him at all. Mentioned, he's an all-star as well. So many guys that the Beavers can use that are high-end. And, I mean, when this team gets Ryan Musilar back, they can roll out a group that has maybe even 5 to 6 all-stars in a batting lineup at the same time. 2 outs for Harnett. First pitch low.
And you wonder if head coach Cam Williams wanted the lefty look here against Harnett and just try to bring in, as you said, a high-end hitter. And I just announced it. I'm blanking Medill. And yeah, just try to get that left-on-right matchup.
Oh, King is going to bobble that. And now both runners move over into scoring position. So Harnett struggling to find the strike zone. He's only done that once so far. If Weyburn believes, this is the chance to get it done here. Harnett, high pitch, now 3-0. Medill. Called strike there. Outside half, top corner for Harnett.
Have to try to make an adjustment here. Not getting those the top pitches. We have to try to go low, and we've seen the outside corner work.
Medill. The bases are loaded. Wow, it's almost not believable, James, for how this inning has gone. 2 major errors for Medicine Hat, and ever since things have just gone awry. Andrew Bench will meet with J.J. Harnett up on the mound. So with Noah Brooks coming out of the lineup and a change being made, Braden Mayencourt comes up to the plate. He's hit it out in this park before, and it favors a guy who pulls the ball that left to right wind. I mean, it couldn't be a better scenario here for Mayencourt.
I think that's just the pep talk here from Andrew Bench, is just to remind Harnett of success that he has and, how to attack this hitter and also just try to avoid letting this inning spiral any more than it has. 3 runs from the Beavers, and this would be the 3rd hitter for Harnett, so he has to face him. And there is another arm warming up in the Mavs bullpen, but this is a Mayencourt and Harnett is it's what we're all going to see.
Well, it feels like it's the breaking point in this game too. Weyburn, I mean, they were down 9 runs. They battled back, got 3 in this inning, and could get a whole lot more. A pop-up here from Mayencourt. King is off to chase it, and it is too far onto the concourse. High bounce into the stands. Good start for J.J. Harnett. You just have to get back in the strike zone. If you take something off of it, you just have to find your way, because then the next pitches can roll off of that, and you can get back to that confident approach of being able to locate where you want to. Harnett. Late called strike, and now it's 0-2 to Mayencourt. Mayencourt has done catching in the past. He's caught here at AP before. It didn't seem like he was too bothered by that call being a strike. Harnett. Swing and a miss from Mayencourt. And a tap of home plate from Nate King. That will do it. Gutsy from Harnett on the mound. Bases loaded. He walks one on. Obviously, ball gets behind King, and then you put two in scoring position. But a massive moment for the Mavs as they keep their lead intact. Weyburn, some pushback in the inning with 3 put up. Trevor Dale's home run headlining it all. And still very much a game here as we send it to the 7th inning stretch. So J.J. Harnett, I think he's going to be getting thank yous and cards from everybody in the dugout right about now. It's, not Valentine's Day. It's probably not his birthday, but a blessing that he was able to get out of that inning and does so in style with a strikeout to Braden Mayencourt. Now can the Mavs offense respond? You get Frankie Giacalone up a good part of the order. Johnny Volcano awaits on deck. Feels like something you can build off of.
Yeah, this part of the order had success the last inning, and for the Mavs, just keep building on that. Weyburn responded, and now's your chance to answer back and try to grow the lead again.
And you can't get panicked that Weyburn responded. They're a good team. Despite that they don't score a lot of runs, they are in a playoff spot for a reason. You can't take them lightly. Giacalone stretching out the swing here. 2-0 from Husband. He'll bounce that into Robert Gurney for ball 3. As I mentioned, Husband, one of 2 of those on the team, and they're both from Weyburn, obviously brothers. And anytime you get a couple of hometown products, it's just so much sweeter. And Keaton Husband spending his collegiate season in Canada as well. He was playing at Okanagan College in BC. That one loops in for a strike to Giacalone. There's not a whole lot of players left on the Mavs who have played in the CCBC. Really, the only one was Carson Chan. Chan departing for the season, and now obviously that leaves a void to be filled in the outfield. Jalen King has done a good job of that today. Giacalone will foul that off. Full count here to the big righty for the Mavs. Husband. You can see the wind continually picking up out there, the fluttering of the jersey. Giacalone jammed. Bounces off of Husband. He'll collect. Flip to first, and that throw was in molasses. Slow motion over to Mayencourt, but just in time, and that'll be out number 1.
Husband continuing the same approach against Giacalone that we saw from Rachel, and just off speed. And I don't know if they think Giacalone or that was just how they wanted to attack him, and it kind of worked today. Obviously, he still had the double we saw at the last inning, but works there for a soft grounder.
Giacalone can hit any pitch, but maybe it's something we noticed in film recently that he's attacking at a certain pitch and avoiding that, doing a good job. I mean, props to Cam Williams and his staff for picking up on that. Husband, 0-1 here to Volcano. High floater, immediate head shake before the ball even reached the back of Gurney's glove. Now it's 1-1 to Johnny. Just one Volcano in the lineup today. Adam not in play, but he's a guy, late inning situation, pinch runner, you bring him in. 2-1 now to Johnny Volcano. Husband confirms the sign on the mound. Kicks, deals, and held up for a strike there. Volcano not agreeing with that.
No, I think he's asking if that's as far outside or as down as it's going to go, and now he works now with 2-2 count.
And all players talk about the umpires away from the game, just as I'm sure umpires do players, because they know the tendencies of those around the league. It's so funny to hear them talk about, well, this guy has this zone and this guy likes this. Here's a ground ball over to second base. Jared Cramp coming into the game and making the throw in time to get Volcano. Took a little bit of an adjustment there for Cramp. Very fresh still into this contest. Eric Calder. Will the day, night, season continue for him? It has been impressive. Husband ready to go. Calder's going to take his time. Let's see if Calder can bait him into giving him a good pitch. I think any pitch is good right about now to Calder. Ball 1 to Eric Calder. Do you get to the point where you just walk him in this game, James, with the way that it's gone?
I think it's tough with 2 outs. You don't want to test Nate King either.
Calder. Away, won't swing, takes for strike 1. 5 RBIs tonight, 2 hits, 2 runs for Calder. He's done it all with the long ball. Pitch outside to Calder. Ball going to roll off the mound. The first time we've seen that in this game. Everybody's been in control till now. Calder resets. Husband, 2-1. It's low. Gurney gets a glove to it. Good looking count here for Eric Calder. James, as you mentioned, Nate King waiting over on deck. Nobody warming up in either bullpen right now. I would assume Husband will get this inning, and likely the next. We'll see what happens in the 9th. Calder. Oh.
He wanted a 3rd home run with that swing.
Well, he has all the tools to do just that. We'll see if he shortens up his swing now in a full count situation, but yeah, he was aiming for the moon. Full count to Calder. Husband ready to go on the mound. Here comes the pitch. Calder fans this aside. Long stretch for Joe Medill in left field. Circles around and drops it. Calder's off for second base. Doesn't even have to slide. And that is 2 errors in the outfield in back-to-back innings, both on different sides. But Medill, an interesting route that he took, actually got into foul territory at one point, and it kind of forced him to drop the ball.
I don't know if he just couldn't pick it up right away with where the sun was at. It's kind of hard to tell with the shaded roofs here where we are in the broadcast booth. Can't see the sun and its impact, but not able to get that. And credit to Eric Calder, didn't let up running. He got all the way to second there and was able to move up 60 feet on the air.
Wonder if that one gets a hit as well. Husband, quick shot here. Skipping out of the way was Calder. Dale on target to first base, and so Calder is left stranded. Not much going on in the inning for the Mavs, shutting it down. Keaton Husband still remains a 6-run game here as we move out of the 7th. Adam Volcano. It's so funny. We just mentioned he could make his way into this game. Oh, barehanded in the dugout, out of the air by Ryan Reed off the foul ball. It was impressive. We don't have it in frame. Good catch by the Mavs skipper. Volcano going to be trusted to do the same thing over in left field, mentioning he's into the game now. So Josh Stark out, and J.J. Harnett loses his hat. The wind blowing fearlessly out there at the moment. And Harnett back in the strike zone here, 0-2. All he needed was the one strikeout to get going, and we'll see if he can use that again in this 8th inning. Harnett 0-2, swiped aside by King. It's the first ball of the inning. Harnett, love a quick one here, sets up his team well for the next, and he hits Jared Cramp with a pitch. So Cramp is off to first base, not the way you'd like to begin, especially after having an 0-2 count. So many changes in the Beavers batting lineup today. Noah Brooks and Ryan Daphne checking out. So we're going to have to navigate around many changes, and the Mavericks doing the same thing at the moment. Here's Will Sevier. Sevier in for a majority of today's game, playing at third base. He'll take the first pitch for a ball. Trying to get an eye on who might be warming up in the bullpen. Levi Tibbetts is down on that side. He doesn't look to be warming up. And now here's a high fly ball over to right field. Morrison this time has it. Loses the hat while making the play. That's out number 1. So for Morrison, obviously could not see the ball last time around over there. And you might be wondering, it's a similar spot. It was the path that he took to get to it that time that allowed him to see around it. Obviously, he makes no mistake on the grab. Here's Robert Gurney now with the 1 out and 1 on. Gurney known for hitting home runs in this park. It'll be sad once he's out of the league because he's been a fixture in the WCBL for so long, and this likely is last year listed as a senior. First pitch to Gurney. High, called ball 1. Cramp. Be interested to see if he gets a good enough jump if he looks to run. A tall guy, but he does have pretty good speed, at least from what I'm aware of. Swing and a miss for Gurney on the second pitch, looking to uppercut the ball, and he swings through. Harnett, quick shoulder check. Just 3 hits on the game for the Beavers. They have 4 runs. Usually that's a bit of a mystery. Here's a fly all the way over towards foul territory. Too far from Morrison to get to. It's going to end up over the fence. Of course, that's the side fence, not the far one. Talking about home run, and there's been several of those in this game today. Trevor Dale, one into right field. Eric Calder has a pair. Carter Roth. And Evan Morrison with the longest one into right field. 2-1 upcoming from Harnett. It's high for ball 2. Looking over towards the Mavs bullpen, it looks like it's Davin Highnote who's getting warm. Harnett poking out and sending one into right field. Maybe a little bit of trouble again seeing from Morrison. He'll make the grab for out number 2. And adjusting well as Morrison. He's not in his head after, of course, missing that play. And you have to be able to respond in that manner. You're going to see some action throughout the course of the game and throughout the rest of the game. And I like how Morrison's dealt with the last 2 flyouts. So 2 out. Cramp was the leadoff guy to get on. A hit by pitch. And I'll bring up to the plate now Austin Boylan. Boylan, first pitch, strike from Harnett. J.J. Harnett with one of the lower ERAs so far this season out of the Mavericks bullpen. And really outside of maybe his last 2 appearances, he's been super strong. 21 Ks, 14 walks. It's a pretty good look. Harnett misses outside. Now it's off to 1-1. For those who are watching that are wondering about the other game that's important to both of these 2 teams, that being Fort Mac and Regina. The Red Sox losing 8-2 right now in an important game for the playoff chase. In an ideal world, I'm sure the Beavers and Mavericks would hope that this game doesn't mean anything and they both get in at some point, but obviously a long ways away, and Regina a long ways back in that game that is in the top of the 7th. Harnett peers over towards first base. Gets ready for the 1-2 to Boylan. Ooh, airmailed. Boylan will duck under it, and now it's 2-all. A couple of other games going on away from just this one and the Regina game over in Fort Mac. The Okotoks Dogs up by 1 against the Brooks Bombers, who gave them trouble yesterday. It's in the bottom of the 6th. And then 6-2, the Gulls lead over the Berries, that in Sylvan Lake. Harnett, not sure if that hit Boylan. It looks like it did on the arm, and so he's off over to first base. Harnett just about out of the inning. Needed one more strike, and instead he knocks Boylan. Gives a chance here as Trevor Dale comes back up to the plate. Very similar situation to what we saw last time. Dale came through with a home run in that at-bat. He's got 2 on here. The Beavers need runs, and they need them desperately with just 2 innings to play. Harnett misses outside. No swing from Dale. Mentioned that 2 other games postponed so far today. That the Energy City game and Lethbridge game, so we won't have updates on those. Mavericks still up here against the Beavers, but threatening our Weyburn. Here's a ground ball foul from Dale. Quick toss over into the Mavericks dugout. Didn't make its way there. Somebody dropped it. Evan Heino still continuing to get warm down on the left-hand side. Ethan Chenard doing the bullpen catching, a local product. A local product on the mound here in Harnett as we get back to 1-1. Harnett misses outside, and now it's 2-1 to Trevor Dale. Dale had a really good collegiate season this year, and we'll see where he ends up next year. And if he returns to the league, I'm sure Weyburn would love to have him back. Harnett pitches high, and now it's 3-1. Bases were loaded for Harnett before he got out of it in the last inning with a strikeout to Braden Mayencourt. It would be a different Mayencourt who comes up with the bases loaded here if Trevor Dale is able to get on. Harnett swing and a miss from Dale. And it's tough to attack the strike zone when you feel like your stuff isn't there. Dale missing the pitch that time around, a guy who's obviously had success recently with the long ball. So Harnett, right approach there. Now he works into a 3-2 spot. Harnett, runners moving, high pitch, and that will allow Dale to move to first base. And just as I mentioned, it is another situation with a Mayencourt coming to the plate. It will be Owen, home plate umpire, calling time here. And it looks like Levi Tibbetts is now going to start to warm up, and Davin Heinold is going to come into the game. So Ryan Reed relieving J.J. Harnett of his duties. Big play to get out of the last inning, but there's trouble brewing for the Mavericks. They still lead, but Weyburn putting on the pressure. Bases loaded for Owen Mayencourt, and he will see Davin Hinote. Not sure if this will be the only batter that he faces, but it's looking like it with Levi Tibbetts warming up. He just needs one out. He can get it in any way. But a huge spot here for Owen Mayencourt. His first pitch is for ball one. The only thing that Hinote has to eliminate here is giving out a free pass. You don't want to walk in a runner. You want to make Mayencourt earn it at the plate. Hinote, Mayencourt shields this off, and it lands foul. Hinote pitched a no-hitter earlier this year. Kansas Wesleyan. Two members of that team on the Mavericks this year. The other, Blake Dale, who's not in the game today. Hinote kicks on the way. Mayencourt, high fly ball over towards right field. Morrison has a view at it, and he makes the play. The Mavs surviving two bases loaded jams. Harnett the first time, Hinote this time around. He gets a fly out into right field, and the Mavs keep their lead intact by 6. Adam Volcano, his first plate appearance of the game here in the bottom of the 8th. Keaton Husband back out again. So it looks like it's only going to be 2 pitchers used throughout today's game for the Weyburn Beavers. There's nobody warming up as of now, and I assume that Husband will get the rest of the way here by the looks of it, unless this inning gets long. 0-2 count here to Adam Volcano. Volcano began his collegiate career at Colby Community College, and now he's at Doane University playing for the Tigers. Volcano, that one strummed over into right field, and it's just foul. Volcano has gotten into a few games pitching so far this season, which is not something we'd seen a lot during his past years with the Mavs. But the bat, it has ramped up its production as well, as he's obviously had a bigger workload doing 2 different jobs. The bat has began to move well. Here's a ground ball over towards second base. Jared Cramp throw to first for the out, a 4-3 for the Beavers. That's out number 1. Here comes Jalen King. We're still really not informed about who Jalen King is, because he's still so new to this Mavericks team, but he's made an impact at least play-wise, and mentioned earlier in the game that his teammates are obviously a fan with the hustle that he played with yesterday. King takes the first pitch for a ball, and a guy that Ryan Reed spoke highly of is, he played his year at Mid-America Christian, a team that was very successful, comes here and is already bringing some of that energy to the Mavs. Second pitch misses outside for Husband. It's 2-0 to King. I should mention, there are 2 Kings on the team, but there's no relation between the 2 of them. Husband. Ooh, That one tight towards King as he dodges it. And now we'll look at a 3-0 count. Husband. And it is going to be a 4-pitch walk here to Jalen King as that one hits the heart of the plate. So 1 on for the leadoff hitter in Carter Roth. And the Mavs order has turned over really well so far today. You know, even in the case of Nate King where he doesn't have any hits, you've had a guy like Josh Stark deposit a hit, Jalen King, and then Carter Roth with 2 on the day makes it a lot easier. Roth 2 for 4 overall, and now he'll deal with King in front of him and look towards Husband on the mound. Husband losing all control here. Another pitch into the dirt. Not sure if this is going to force the Beavers' hand. Maybe they'll bring up somebody. I'm not going to jump to conclusions here. There's nobody in the bullpen right now. King. Pretty big leadoff over at first base. Roth. Didn't get the full taste of playoff action with the Mavs last year, just 2 games, and I'm sure he'll be honest about it. He's kind of alluded to it before. Really spent all season thinking about getting back there and obviously finishing off what the Mavs couldn't finish off last year with their early exit. Just focused on Husband for now. Pitch to Roth, and it hits for a strike. So after 7 consecutive balls here from Husband, he finally finds the zone again. Husband steps off the mound, tosses to first to check on Jalen King. 12 hits as a team for the Mavericks so far today. That's a really good total considering they did not reach the double-digit mark yesterday. And talk about performances from solo players. Carter Roth, one of those who's had a big day, and that's his 3rd hit. A single over into right field. King's got great speed, a rifled throw over towards third base, and King in time. Runners on the corners now for the Mavs as Evan Morrison comes up to the plate. And Morrison feeling it after his last at-bat went all the way over the fence. And you have to love the look, and Keaton Husband is going to have a talking to here. Is Jackson Henderson back out of the dugout again for the Weyburn Beavers. It's been one of those days where they've had to have lots of mound visits. Zach Rachel, of course, the starter in this game. He went 5 and 2 innings and gave up 12 hits, 10 earned runs, and he only struck out 1 batter during that time, 71 pitches thrown. And if you weren't with us for the earlier part of the game, Julian Picorni up over 100 pitches today, 8 strikeouts, 3 walks, just 1 earned run surrendered, and only 3 hits in 6 and 2 innings pitched. And that is what has put the Mavs in this position. I mean, starting pitching is so key in this league, and being able to close out games and having a good bullpen, obviously important as well. But just as far as the Mavericks season has gone, and they haven't received a lot of starts that have been long and high quality with batters striking out left and right. And Picorni, he did all of that today. It's been a long wait for the Mavs, you know, who have been in search of a performance like that in a game that they're starting to pull away in. And, you know, still a 6-run lead here looking to build. Pitch outside to Morrison. Ball 1 from Husband. And now there is some movement in the Beavers bullpen. Looks like they're bringing up a side armor down there. And, I mean, that can only mean that it's going to be Casey Lindstad. Here's a ground ball over to second. Cramp converts the throw to Dale. A bouncer along the ground. And looking to take second is Morrison. King came across to score. The throw to Morrison, and in time. So the Mavs extend their lead, but a double play in weird fashion executed by the Weyburn Beavers. The first out made by Trevor Dale, and the second on the throw down to second base. And I believe it was Dale, the shortstop again, who finished the job. Top of the 9th inning, Davin Highnote, he is still out on the mound. Ryan Reed putting his faith in Highnote, who's had ups and downs so far this year, but it's coming along, and Andrew Bench sees the promise with Highnote on the mound right about now, and he's got to get 3 outs here against Weyburn. He has a big cushion, 7 runs, as there's a high fly ball into center field. King running onto it, protection there from Morrison behind. That is out number 1, and the Mavs inch a little bit closer to a victory. They kill the toss up onto the bump, and it will bring up to the plate Joe Medill. So Joe Medill inserted into this game for Noah Brooks. He moved into left field, had a throwing error earlier over there. Reached base last time, I believe, via the walk. Medill, a promising player for the Beavers who's had a really good season. First pitch there is a strike from Highnote. The biggest thing with Highnote has been his command. Can he put it inside of the zone? And he did there against Medill. And now you get Medill off balance. That's a hitter who you have to start out hot against. Medill, a swing and a miss, and now it's 0-2 right off the face mask of Nate King. Medill's average has dipped as the season has gone on, but 20 RBIs so far, 31 hits, 28 runs moved in. And the average down to 228 on the season coming into this game. It was much higher at other points. Highnote, high fly ball over towards Jalen King again. He's shading from the sun, hand up in the air, makes the play for out number 2. Davin Highnote has looked really comfortable, and when you come into a new environment and have to experience new things, you're unsure of what the results are going to look like. And I think early there was a feeling out process for Highnote, but as the season has gone on and he's just gone out there and played and pitched and thought less about, the logistics and small little things, he's gotten even better and not letting the outside environment affect him at all. First pitch from Highnote this time around is for a ball. Think back to that Regina game. He came in to relieve, and it was not a good showing. So far here, he's thrown 9 pitches, 6 for strikes. And here's a high fly over towards Adam Volcano. He's going to pick it up in the sky, and that will do it. The Medicine Hat Mavericks respond in a big way after a loss yesterday to the Beavers. On Sunday afternoon, they take it 11-4, and now things get even closer in the East Division, just a half a game separating Medicine Hat and Weyburn. And once again, it was Eric Calder. A big night at the plate. 2 home runs that crossed over the fence, part of 4 home runs that the Mavs put out. Carter Roth and Evan Morrison, the other 2. So these 2 teams will not see each other for the rest of the regular season. The only time they could meet is in the playoffs, and that is what they will be thinking about from here on out. They are neck and neck, and they split the weekend series. That'll do it from Athletic Park. We only got one more broadcast to go. I can't believe it. This season has gone by so fast, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. One more against Swift coming up back here at Athletic Park August 1st to close out the season. The Mavs get it done today here, 11-4 over Weyburn. That does it for me, Truman Bartman, here on Flow Sports. As always, take care of everyone, and we will see you in the next one.